So Santos expanding its Barossa gas project north of Darwin. That basically extends the facility life for another 20 years. More money, much more money, more jobs too.
Morning, Pete. Well, the sun's coming up here soon in Darwin. It's going to shine on a very bright future, I've got to tell you. It's a fantastic announcement. We haven't seen one of this size for roughly 10 years. Last one was here for the Ichthys plant here in Darwin. But yeah, you're spot on. It's over $5 billion Australian in terms of the investment. 20-year life extension for Darwin LNG. Big expansions out in the Barossa oil and gas fields out off Darwin, about 300 kilometres. But this is great news. It's a vote of confidence in the resources sector, and that's good news for all Australians.
How many more jobs can come out of this?
Well, the forecast is over 600 around construction. It depends on what multiplier you want to use in terms of downstream jobs, which are provided indirectly. So, all the way down to someone that's, sending lunches and canteen packs out, Pete, if you want to measure it that way. But $5 billion is a significant investment. It is one which demonstrates that in Australia we are open for business and the resources sector, once again, is the backbone of our economy.
Yep, OK. Not everyone's happy about this. The Australia Institute has been pretty damning over it. It says this could be one of the dirtiest gas fields in Australia, leading to immense harm to the environment in the immediate vicinity and accelerating dangerous climate change. That from the Australia Institute. What's your reply to that?
Well, the anti-everythings are against everything. That's no surprise to me. Mate, we're here to deliver jobs. We've said we're having a gas-led recovery and the Commonwealth is delivering on that commitment. We know it's a transition fuel as well. There is huge demand for gas right around the world. The forecast is good. In fact, I'm surprised about this, Pete. The Office of the Chief Economist put out a report Monday that no one seems to be aware of, but forecast for the resources sector is they will break all records in a COVID year. We expect more than $296 billion worth of exports from resources and energy. That is more than we've ever done. That's off the back of the hard work of the men and women in the sector, and I think they should be congratulated, not opposed.
The Barossa field, though, does contain high levels of carbon dioxide. So what, if any, assurances have you been given from Santos about how they will offset increased emissions?
Oh, look, I'd refer you to Santos's press release yesterday. They've got offset provisions. I know they're looking to do carbon capture and storage as well. There's a multiple piece around this announcement, including those provisions, Pete. This is just really good news. It's a lot of money. What it says is that people have confidence in Australia, in Australia's industry, in the way that they've managed COVID to ensure that we can continue to operate safely right around the country. And that's good for all Australians.
But away from the press release, I mean, have you spoken to Santos and are you satisfied that their assurances will be backed up with action?
I regularly speak to all of the major providers in the resources sector. I'm confident they'll do exactly what they said they would. They're an Australian company delivering Australian gas for the benefit of all Australians. OK, you did mention resources on a boom at the moment, particularly iron ore. It's on a serious forward march. How long do you think we can bank on those purchases, particularly from China? Well, I mean, our forecasts are that out to the medium term, we don't expect to see too much of a slowdown in terms of iron ore. Trade, Pete. I mean, there's always risk in world markets, depending on what your competitors are doing. We know there are a couple of places around the world which are looking to produce iron ore, but once again, they're badly affected by the COVID outbreak. In Australia, we've managed our way through this in an incredibly strong position. And that's off the back of all these people doing what they needed to do. Australia should be congratulated.
How long do you think Brazil is going to be out of action?
Oh, that'll come down to basically how they manage the outbreak over there, what happens with the vaccine rollout. In Australia, that's one of our key focuses. We need to get the vaccine rollout continuing to be out on target so we can all get back to life as close to normal as possible. Australia's been very supportive and Australians have been very supportive of the rollout. Got a couple of challenges in Queensland at the moment, but that's no surprise. There will be hotspots. OK, well, I was going to save that for later, but let's chat about that now. What do you make of that? You've got the outbreak that's taking place in Queensland. There's a shutdown in Greater Brisbane. Before I ask you about vaccines, what do you make of that so far? Firstly, I don't think any Australian wants to see the Commonwealth and the states having a barney over this, but I am a little bit surprised that frontline health workers in one of the biggest hospitals in Queensland hadn't been vaccinated. That was a surprise to me. Hopefully, Anastasia Palaszczuk, the Premier, can get this under control and their contract tracing is at the point that it should be after we've had this around for nearly a year. I know there's a number of cases now, particularly in the regions as well, off the back of some events in Byron Bay, is my understanding in terms of the media reports. But once again, we're doing everything we can. It can be managed. You've only got to look at what happens in New South Wales, Pete. Gladys Berejiklian has done this for 12 months. It can be done.
It's only, I mean, and it's not just Queensland though. It's several states now that they've only used half of the available supply when it comes to vaccines. I mean, that's pretty shocking.
Well, I mean, your viewers will make their own decisions about what standards should be happening in terms of state rollouts. They are through the state health systems. At a Commonwealth level, we're doing everything we can to make sure that the vaccine is supplied. We've made sure that we have onshore production. We are ensuring that rollout continues in terms of the arrangements between us and the states. And we just want to get on with it.
So, but it is on the states. Is this on the states, in your opinion?
Well, there are a couple of pieces to all of this. The Commonwealth has its part in terms of the vaccine rollout. The states have theirs, but certainly in terms of public health systems in the states, they are in charge of those components.
And they are way behind.
Well, that's an indication from the numbers. You'd have to put that question to the Premier. But as I said earlier, no one wants to see us in a brawl over this. We've just got to get through it. We need to manage it as well and effectively as we possibly can. You can manage hotspots. Gladys Berejiklian has demonstrated that that can be done. We just need to make sure that our contact tracing is bulletproof and we manage those localised outbreaks.
What do you make of the statewide mask mandate, though, in Queensland that's taking place at the moment? You've got this outbreak in Brisbane, but what does that mean for someone in, say, Mount Isa? I don't think they've ever had a case there, yet everyone's got to wear a mask.
Well, I mean, get yourself up to Harracoon or Weipa or onto the Cape.
That's right.
Yeah, look, I think that's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But look, that's the directive from Queensland. That's their decision.
All right, Keith Pitt, appreciate your time this morning. As always, talk to you soon.